Sexy.
Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band. Video game movie club. Laugh until the credits roll. Joey, Alex, Tim will dub. Scenes that make you lose control.
It's cutscenes.
It's the best intro music of any of our series, even though it's got the wrong name of the series in it.
It's fine, it'll do the job. Welcome back to Cutscenes. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm joined by Tim. And joined by Jim.
Hello.
And we're excellent.
That's Joey going back buying a fast car.
That's because I have a need for speed.
Ah, I see.
So we're here today to talk about a Turtles journey. No, we're here to talk about the 2014 Need for Speed film, because why not? First off, gentlemen, any experience with the Need for Speed as a video game franchise?
Dum, dum.
Played the shit out of Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. Holy shit, did I spend so much time on that game, and I remember being ecstatic when my copy of Need for Speed Underground 2 arrived in the post on PS2.
Need for Speed Underground were the shit.
Oh, they're so good.
Anything after that, I'm not that mad on.
I will say the Need for Speed, is it Outrun, is it called, or Outlaw, something like that? That game's genuinely really good.
Need for Speed Naughty Boys being chased by police.
Yeah. Genuinely really
Isn't that
good.
just Grand Theft Auto?
No. What about you, Alex? Any experience with Nisfuwif?
Yeah, I played some. I was more of a Midnight Club guy back in the day.
We talk about the Legend of Zelda. Alex never played it. We talk about, what was it, Metal Gear Solid? Alex has only played Splinter Cell. Need for Speed. Alex has played Midnight Club.
Yeah.
Alex's gaming history is like Temu. It's ridiculous.
He's like the
I did
middle of Lidl of gaming.
So earlier this weekend, our good friend Griffin was re-listening to our Wand of Gamelon episode, and he replied to me, that was the first Zelda game Alex has played. Does he even play video games? So... mad.
I had a Sega and then went straight to Xbox. I didn't play Nintendo and PlayStation, but yeah, I played Need for Speed. I used to really quite like racing games and car games when I was younger. I'm not very good at them anymore. That might just be a sign of age. But I know, Joey, you in particular are quite fond of racing and racing games and things, aren't you?
Yeah, I like Formula One. I like Formula One. I'm not mad at the street element of it, although I was for Need for Speed. I'll come on to that in my thoughts in this film.
Tim just likes looking at cars and thinking, whoa.
No,
So-
I like racing games. I'm a big fan of Trackmania, but I like Joey. I like the more track focused games because I feel like I'm doing better at optimizing my times. With the exception, best street racing game of all time, Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise was pretty good. Pretty fun. So, a brief go over of what a Need for Speed film is, and then we'll get into story and discussions and such. There will be quote unquote spoilers for this film. I'm sorry. Need for Speed is a 2014 action crime film based on the EA series. It tells the story of a street racer, Toby Marshall, who sets off on a cross-country race to get to another race, to win the race and get cars and avenge his friend. It was directed by someone who seems to have no notable experience. One Scott Wan doesn't seem to have really done too much. Act of Valor.
He's got
Yeah.
an act of valor. Wow.
No,
Don't disrespect him, Alex.
and he did Expendables 4.
The-
Other than
the-
that,
the good one, as everyone knows.
Yeah, clearly.
Can I highlight my favorite credit connection in this?
Go on.
Yep.
Lead writer George Gatkins, before doing this movie, the only thing he had done was he had produced a comedy short film called My Wife is Retarded.
Do we want that in the episode?
You can beep it if you want,
It's a
Alex.
title. It's a title.
Mm. Okay.
What we've learned here is the people behind the screenplay have no real merit. The director doesn't seem to have too much merit. Let's
That
have a
is-
look.
That is quite harsh.
Scott Ware is the sound that I made at the end of the movie.
It's got wow. But it's got not an awful cast. So we've got
The other co-writer helped write Norbit, if you remember that one.
I
Wow.
can't tell you. I could not tell you what Norbit is.
Norbit was
It's the name for
It
a
was a
penis.
movie.
it was a film about a guy who was the woman of his dreams, but she happened to be quite large, and that was the whole story.
That's the joke.
Oh,
That's
excellent.
that's the joke. He has done some other good stuff, like the Fred, not even the
Movie.
Fred movie, the sequel Fred movie.
There was a second
Um,
one.
Yep.
No.
He didn't write that though. He starred in that. That got a 2.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
So in terms of actors, we'll go over the main cast because honestly, the rest of it is just add-ons. We've got Aaron Science Bitch Paul, who plays as Toby Marshall, a blue-collar mechanic and a skilled former race car driver from Mount Cisco, New York. We've got Dominic Cooper as Dino Brewster, an indie racer and Toby's fierce rival. We've got Imogen Poots, which honestly, I'd laughed at that name way more than I should have done, as Julia Madden, a British?
Yeah.
Question mark?
She's the American personification of British. Car broker who becomes a love interest. Scott Mescudi as Sergeant Benny Maverick, who is a former National Guard soldier. He's a member of Toby's crew. He's a pilot. He can fly airplanes, and he owns a Cessna like all good drug dealers do.
Sorry, what did you say his name was?
The actor, or
The character.
Sergeant Benny Maverick Jackson.
Can we give him his actual credited name, please? The
Liar One.
actor. No, it's Kid Cudi, the guy that did Day and Night.
That's Kid Cudi.
Yeah,
It's not Kid Cudi.
he's Kid Cudi.
I'm going to Google.
Oh, his stage name Kid Cudi, right? Okay, you're right.
Kid Cudi.
You
They made
Son of a
such a
bitch, that is
big
him.
thing of Kid Cudi being in this film in the advertising campaign. That's what I remember. Because it was like Fast and Furious has Ludacris.
Wow.
Need for Speed has Kid Cudi. And if you don't
Ramon Ro-
remember Kid
No.
Cudi, he's the one that does
Day and night.
Day and Night. I toss and turn, I keep stressing my mind. It was quite big on the dubstep scene.
and we're now getting copyright struck for Joey's flawless rendition. We've got Ramon
Whoa.
Rodriguez as Joey Beastie Peck, who is also a member of Toby's crew, and he's a professional mechanic because, you know, every car crew needs a mechanic. Rami Malek, who as Finn, who is a member of Toby's crew, who was also, if I remember, Joey, was he not the voice actor and mocap for one of the characters in
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn?
He was. He also played Freddie Mercury in the Queen biopic.
He's also Mr. Robot in Mr. Robot.
He's actually a really good actor in literally everything I've ever seen him in, apart from this film. He
But
was
honestly, like,
hilariously shit in this film.
His screen time in this may be totaled about 20 minutes. We've got Michael Keaton as Monarch, who is a reclusive and eccentric host of an underground supercar race competition, De Leon. Dakota Johnson plays Anita Coleman, who is the older sister of Pete. Pete being played by Harrison Gilberston, and is another member of Toby's crew. And for some reason that is never explained, Pete has visions. He is apparently a future seer of some variety. Never
Right.
touched on apart from at the start, he goes, I have a vision of you winning this De Leon. And halfway through, he goes, this is how you won the De Leon in my vision.
Yeah.
New York's weird.
Mm. Yeah.
In terms of production, the only the notable point of it is filmmakers decided to go with practical effects rather than relying on CGI for all of the race sequences, which meant the entire cast had to receive very intensive driving lessons. And all of the cars, barring one of them, the McLaren Roadster, are actually kit car replicas. Because let's face it, the value of these cars, they're not going to be driving the real things around. This
It was, I
film
mean,
had
you got to say, for the practical effects, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
you,
like
no,
that's pretty good.
Did you say no, Alex?
no. I was sorry. No, I was
Well, I thought you
agreeing.
went, I thought I went,
I
you
got my
need to say
words
it's
I got my
impressive.
words the wrong way around.
I thought I went, this is impressive. And you went, no.
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 No,
Yeah. Yeah. This
I'm just
movie
trying to find it
cost
because
$66 million to make. And in the
did.
States made $43 million back.
Yeah, it's getting a
then-
sequel.
But in
Well,
yeah, that's
internationally,
because
it made $159 million.
I see.
yeah. So it made a total of $203 million. So it did actually do well.
You sounded
from a-
really
from a-
pained
from a-
to say that.
From a
Well-
from a finance point of view, the film did well. I didn't realize it was getting a sequel. This came out in 2014. How much longer is it going to take them?
It's in development hell. It's EA.
It's going to turn into we're going to be 10 years down the line and we're going to go, oh, there's a Need for Speed 2, and we're all going to be going, why?
The EA logo at the start of this film was enough to make me feel a little bit sick, to be honest.
Why? Because it's EA.
Yeah. I had no faith in it whatsoever from the opening minute because of that very reason.
So, in terms of ratings, Rotten Tomato has it at 23% based on 186 reviews. So, this isn't just a few people that didn't like it, this is a lot of people. And the general consensus of the film is with stock characters and a preposterous ploy, this noisily diverting video game adaptation fulfills a need for speed and little else. Which, I think is fair. Pretty fair.
I spent the whole time watching this, and this is what I said I'll allude to later. I realised upon listening back to episodes, we all have a habit of going, oh yeah, no, but I've got something to say on that later, and then we never say it. So I'm making sure I'm really clear. I spent the whole time watching this film going, like, they're fast cars, but bloody hell, they're driving dangerously. That scene right at the start, like, I'm not going to go into the main plot point that happens there because I want to leave the plot to Alex and let him really enjoy that. Where Aaron Paul's character, who, despite watching the movie yesterday and having his name explained to me now, I can't remember, Toby Engine
Carvery.
Man. Yeah, Toby Carvery. Right near the start, and he's driving the wrong way down the freeway.
Oh yeah, when they're all driving Koenigsegg's that aren't meant to be released.
Yeah, and I spent that whole sequence going, oh, he's gonna get himself killed here. He's gonna hurt himself, but the worst thing is he's gonna hurt someone else too.
Important to remember though, Joey, practical. It wasn't CGI.
Practical effect. Well, that was quite apparent in that sequence because if you notice the way that the cars were spaced out, it was like one in the right lane followed by one in the left lane followed by one in the right lane. There was never two side by side or two in a row. And they also swerved off about a mile before the car or camera was anywhere near them. So whilst there was some impressive stunts in this, that whole sequence was not good.
I
Well
also
done.
really like that none of the other drivers on the road had any sense to just pull over and let them pass. Every time it was always like, oh, I'm just going to swerve into a tree and total my car.
Yeah, why not?
Every single driver.
I mean, what would you do?
Pull over.
What?
If I saw a
You don't
car
want to. You
hurtling
don't want to
towards,
total your car.
if I
Why
saw a
would-
car hurtling towards me at 230 miles an hour coming head on, I would move to the side.
Well, Alex would intentionally go head on into them, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? I would too,
I'd turn
just
it into the
because.
fastest game of chicken you've ever seen.
Well, I would too, because I wouldn't want them hurting someone else. I'd be like, well, they'll have something to say at my funeral.
God, Joey's got such a fucking martyr complex about him, hasn't he?
He touched
I just-
everyone, and by that I mean he splattered everywhere.
I think.
He's a little bit over there, a little bit over
Honestly,
there.
I think it might be something to do with the fact that I've got a son, and I'm like, oh, this is a terrible message for the kids. It really is a bad message.
Alex, tell us about the
Okay.
story and why
Okay.
Michael Keaton's character made no fucking sense.
Okay, so I bullet pointed it. Toby owns a small garage left to him by his late father, who is some renowned racer, but it's never really discussed after that. It's basically my dad go fast, but now dead. But the
That's how they
garage,
said it in the film as well.
yeah, my dad go fast, but now dead. The garage is struggling to make ends meet. They get involved in a street race.
Base.
Oh no, they're going faster than getting in a street race.
I was 2 words ahead of myself. They have a street race where Toby wins, and he wins a whole $5,000, which lets them cover rent for the next month. But then it's going to be the same problem next month. God, I feel that in my bones. This is the bit that annoyed me. For some reason, Pete can have visions. It's never explained why. It's never explained if this is a constant thing that Pete always does, where he sits there and goes, I'm having a vision. But apparently he has a vision of Toby winning the De Leon, which is a very famous illegal underground street race, which
It's
we'll
not
get
that
onto it.
underground if it's
I
very
was gonna say-
famous. It's
The thing I really don't fucking get about this whole character and this whole sequence is Dino, who is Toby
Tommy
Carver.
Engine's rival.
I'm gonna refer to him as Brewers Fair because he's Toby Carvery's rival.
Okay, good.
So Brewers Fair.
It's a very British joke, Tim.
It is. So he's out to dinner with some clients, and he's like, "No one's ever seen the Monarch. Rumor has it that he has invested in 6 Formula One teams and made a lot of money doing that, and now he owns a street race. But he has a fucking Alex Jones style podcast where he's just on camera the whole time, and people can willingly phone him without queuing just to spout shit about other drivers."
They're turning the frickin' engines gay.
But
Do you know what really annoyed me about his podcast that was live? In the top corner, it said live, and it had a flashing shape that was red. What shape that's red that flashes next to the word live says recording?
circle.
Circle.
Not in this case, it was a square.
Ugh.
It really annoyed me every time I saw it.
But it was just one of many things in this film. Like, Joey's jokingly named himself as one of the stupid plot points or one of the stupid bits of dialogue in this film. But it just, the characters and the plot are just in 2 separate lanes, and they don't ever meet.
Good.
It's
car
very
reference
clear
there,
that
Tim.
there were 2 screenwriters on this film. I think it's safe to say. So Dino, the villain of our story, conscripts Toby's little crew, the roadside diners, to rebuild a rare Ford Shelby Mustang. This is a car that was worked on by the late Carroll Shelby, who is an actual real-world famous car designer and racing driver, and this was in exchange for 25% of the car's auction value. It's never fully explained why Dino decided to go to them of all people, given that they're meant to be villains, rivals, not villains. They're meant to be rivals. This is the equivalent of EA going, "I don't want to make this game. Ubisoft, can
Well,
you do it?"
they delivered the car to them in like 7 small pieces, and then the next day had it ready to be displayed at the auction.
This
So
was going to be my next point, and it really, really fucked me
well,
off because this is a movie about sports cars, and it would have been nice to see a montage of it getting put together. And I understand the reason they didn't do that is because then they'd have to research how to fucking engineer a car.
well,
But here we are.
I don't normally write jokes ahead of these episodes, but for this one, I was going to say they got it from 7 small pieces to driving and sellable within a day. They must have really had a need for speed.
Well done. Well done. I applaud your efforts.
One laugh out of that joke, and it was me.
The thing is, like I said, it's a film all about fucking cars. Do the research, put the time
Hold
in,
on.
and show them putting it together. Yes, I know it's about racing.
It's not a film about fucking cars. It's about racing cars.
It's a film about fucking and/or racing cars. But
Yes.
I genuinely thought I'd fallen asleep and missed about 20 minutes of movie because it went from car on the back of a truck with a tarp over it to, ooh, shiny, fast car. I wasn't sure if I'd fallen asleep or if they'd gone to a show to see what the car should have looked like. And then it was like, Toby and Pete were there and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we built this car." And it's like, when? Did you?
What you wanted is in every movie when you want to go from just a beginner to a pro, you need a montage.
You need
Even
a
Rocky had a
montage.
montage.
Even Rocky had a montage.
So at this auction, Toby, let me get through this because,
I'm begging.
I have a need for getting out of this. Toby and Dino meet Julia Madden, a very English car broker working for Bill Ingram. In exchange for details, so they're exchanging details of the car, and Dino claims that it can go 180 miles an hour.
Can I just say something about this?
Yeah.
They're at this car auction, which is a very specialist car auction, and the stupid one who sees visions assumes that someone at that car auction knows nothing about cars. And he basically goes, "Well, this one has 4 wheels and 2 doors and a steering wheel." And then she goes, "Has it got an engine too?" And he goes, "Yes, I'll show you the engine." And then he pops the engine, and she knows every single spec about this engine upon looking at it for about half a second. It's a 5.8 litre aluminum block, not British. Aluminium. There's a fucking U.
Dino claims it can go 180 miles an hour, but Toby says, no, we can make it go 230. Julia decides on behalf of Ingram that their only interest, Tim.
I was talking to Payne about this when this scene came up. The fastest a Formula One car has ever gone is 234.9 miles an hour. There is no goddamn way a Ford Mustang, no matter how tuned it is doing 234 miles an hour like it does in the movie.
Dino objects to this, but Toby decides that he's going to take the car anyway. He somehow takes the car from the auction out to a racetrack without anyone realising. And Toby throws it around this race course to prove how fast it can go. And it can go 234 miles an hour.
0.9 miles an hour slower than the Formula One world record.
Exactly. So Ingram through Julia decides that they're going to buy it for $2.7 million. Dino gets angry because Toby took the car out when Dino said no. And they get baited into a street race between Toby, Pete, and Dino, driving his uncle's Koenigsegg Agera R cars, which are illegal European imports. The three have a race, and Dino's losing. So he intentionally clips Pete's car, sends him exploding, barrel rolling off a bridge, and then landing in a river, killing him presumably instantly. Joey.
Just going back to the top speed of a Ford Mustang, the highest speed a Ford Mustang has ever reached, and it was a Shelby Mustang, was 131.6 miles an hour. Don't say we don't do our research very much on the fly.
Toby sees Pete fall off the cliff, stops his car, turns around to try and go and help him. Dino wins the race and continues driving off into the sunset. Toby is arrested and sentenced to 2 years for involuntary manslaughter, which seems like not a lot, considering he was caught driving an illegal car, driving dangerously, presumably would get done for Grand Theft Auto because there's no proof that he owns that car, and the involuntary manslaughter. 2 years seems like a slap on the wrist for all that. But Toby goes down for it because they're unable to prove that Dino was there.
Which I don't get. There's quite clearly, like, if you see 3 supercars like a Koenigsegg, you'd probably remember it if you then heard that one of them flipped and exploded over a bridge. And
Also,
then they just, police famously, even if someone goes, well, I wasn't there, the police would go, I mean, he said he wasn't there, so he must have not been there.
But also, there were police they passed police at several points in this race they're doing, all of which have dash cams.
Not in 2014.
Also,
that was when they used to have to hand crank the engine.
You're
to
right.
Start
It was all done by camera obscuras.
It was.
Also, it's
Expedition 33.
It's New York City. There's cameras all over the shop. But here we are. Dino gets away with it. It's obvious that Dino's paid a load of people off to get away with it. I've lost where I am in my notes now. Toby's released and he sets out to avenge his friend Pete. He somehow manages to borrow Ingram's Mustang, the one that he built and sold to him, to try and get in.
He says to Ingram, I'm going to win the big illegal race that no one knows about, the De Leon. What's it called?
De Leon.
Is it? Oh. Okay. He says, I'm going to win that. And if I win that, I get loads of cars and I'll give you half of them. And they go, well, all right then.
Each car.
They're going to cut every car down the middle. And he can have the passenger seat of all of them.
Half the cars get destroyed in the race. They're not going to be worth anything.
Yeah, but you don't know that at the time, Tim. You're spoiling it.
Ingram sets the condition that Julia has to go with him in the car. To which he's very angry about. But anyway, 45 hours. So they've got 45 hours to get to San Francisco for the meet because somehow they discover that the De Leon meet is in San Francisco, but they haven't got an invite and they don't know where, or they find out it's in California and they decide, right, well, we'll go to San Francisco and see what happens. So on this little cross-country journey, they reach Detroit. And they cause an interstate police chase by revving the engine very loudly and then driving away.
It was the most unnecessary fucking plan.
I don't know what you mean. Very necessary.
Well, the whole thing was they wanted to get something that was interesting and was going to get news coverage, which I suppose involves revving your engine outside of a building until the police get annoyed by you. So footage is uploaded of this daring driving, including a very Dukes of Hazzard style jump over a bush,
in which we don't see the actual jump. By the way,
practical though.
I'm sure it is practical, but we don't see that. Like the whole thing is that he's driving and like he's meant to go up this grass verge and clear a road, but it cuts to the police and then it cuts back and the car is already in the air.
Yeah,
practical though.
Yeah,
it's practical.
As a result of this footage getting uploaded instantly, Monarch decides to invite Toby to the De Leon, and they get the location of the meeting, which just so happens it was San Francisco.
Wow. How did they work out it was in California again? Because he didn't know that at this time.
Maverick had or one of them heard on the grapevine. Basically, it was a whisper of a whisper type of thing.
Right.
completely unfounded, but someone told him. Dino then goes on to onto Monarch's TV show, podcast, radio show thing, and says, I will offer whoever can kill Toby, my Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, of which there are only 10 in the world, 3 of them being in North America. So this is a pretty rare car for them to win, and this causes a nationwide manhunt of people basically going, "I'm going to kill this guy and get a car."
Yes.
Yeah,
I see no problem with
Yeah,
this.
no, there's no
Yeah.
laws broken here.
yeah,
Tim would do it
definitely
for a
no
Renault
laws
Clio.
broken. Definitely no laws broken over the radio, in the public eye, giving your name. But anyway, in Utah, some truckers are. We reach Utah, and some truckers force Toby and Julia off the road, but they're saved by Benny, who manages to pick up the car with a military helicopter without destroying the frame at all.
No, the fucking roof would rip off that car. They would Thelma and
It would
Louise
rip
that
off
shit.
so quickly.
And I don't
'cause-
think so. It's because they built it so well in their garage over a course of a day,
2 years ago.
demonstrating their need for speed. It didn't work the first time. It didn't work the second either.
So, and then they fly off into the sunset with this car hanging off of the fucking bottom of a Chinook. They eventually make it to San Francisco and register, and Toby has a staring contest with Dino where we were certain they were going to kiss, but they didn't. As they're leaving, as they're leaving the registration to go have a nice meal and a hotel, they get sideswiped by a member of Dino's crew who's in a massive truck. It flips the Mustang, completely totaling it, and Julia ends up in hospital. But somehow, Toby's absolutely fine. He walks away from it with a bit of a scratch on his face.
True as fair
Um,
wins again.
Something like that, yeah. So this is where Toby realizes he now needs a car. Luckily, Anita,
X.
Anita's his ex and Dino's current fiance. But luckily, Anita's been digging into what Dino's done and discovered where he hid the other Koenigsegg.
So he knows that Dino killed Petey.
She knows that Dino killed
sister.
Petey, her brother.
Brother.
Yes.
Her cat's uncle.
So she
Her
she gives
neighbour's
to
cousin.
she gives
Her
to we're nearly
neighbour's
there, guys.
cousin's
We're
cat's
nearly
uncle.
jingle 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 jingle. We're nearly there.
Ooh,
Oh,
keys.
sorry. Yep. Okay, now it's something shiny in my face now. I'm interested.
So Anita gives Toby the location of the Koenigsegg as well as her engagement ring.
Ba-ba-ba.
I know. Toby turns up to it's the day of the De Leon, and the 5 cars are there, and it's these 5 nice supercars with racers that get biographies told about them, and Dino's there in first position. Then Toby turns up just as the race is about to start, and he's in the murder car. The Koenigsegg, he's in Dino's Koenigsegg that he thought he'd hidden so well, despite having signed for the lockup in his name.
Genius.
Toby walks up, taps on the window with the ring, and gives some spiel about how how the police are gonna be really interested in the car, and then throws the ring at him. We have a nice long race along the Pacific Coast Highway.
So this had one of my favorite ridiculous things in this movie.
Which
There
one?
was was it this one? I'm sure it was this one, where Kid Cudi had borrowed a news helicopter to
Oh, no,
help
this
them
was way
navigate.
back.
Oh, is it? I'm
Yeah.
sure it was this one.
No,
Um,
this is when they're like in Detroit.
Kid Cudi's in prison at this point.
Okay, well, there's a point, well, I'm going to go right back to it, where he borrowed a news helicopter and he's meant to be helping them navigate. Oh, this was for the interstate.
For the news coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got the helicopter and he's meant to be helping them navigate, but actually he's using the helicopter to look at girls' asses.
And he's just
And he says the
so
weather is
he actually
fine.
he ends up reported on the travel news live on the news, and it's like how's the traffic up there? And he's like, oh yeah, it's all right, zooming right in on these asses,
I don't
Yeah,
think the
and
sorry.
then they
helicopter
cut to
pilots,
commercials.
when they do these things, would be in control of the camera.
Yeah. Well, there is the helicopter in this De Leon where the police are all like, we're going to stop you because this is obviously quite illegal and dangerous, as Joey from the Game Club pod says. And the way the helicopter tries to stop them is to vaguely hover near them. And then he does that twice and he goes, it's nothing's going to
So
work.
we've tried nothing and nothing happened.
So we're at this race. It's on the Pacific Coast Highway. There are 6 drivers. 2 of them managed to take each other out quite early on, trying to get past. Then the California Highway Police decide to get involved to try and stop the drivers, doing silly things like creating blockades, putting the helicopter down on the road. And my favorite one, where there is a police car on the side of the road, he puts a brick on the accelerator, puts his arm in, pulls up the handbrake, and the car goes into one of these flying cars. The timing that must have taken, the precision that police officer, because these cars at this point, they're going, what? They must be going 160, 180.
So there was a point before this where they went, sir, so the useless helicopter driver, sir, we've tried nothing and nothing happened. And they went, right. They're so dangerous. Lethal force is authorized. And you have this bloke who's just unmanned a car, made a car drone to smash
Yeah.
them. And another officer who took lethal force so fucking seriously that he was like, I'm going to use this family wagon to launch myself into one of the drivers and kill both of us. Fucking mental.
Also, the thing I was thinking about with the cop in the woods who used his car as a projectile, how does he get home?
Well,
He drove
yeah, I don't
there.
know. There's a helicopter pilot who's not doing anything else, so
I see.
It's the timing for me on it, because it's not like the car stopped in the road in front of it. The police car went into the side of this car moving
brilliant.
at 180 miles an hour. That is the equivalent of me throwing a baseball at a jet as it goes
Brilliant.
by. But it works somehow. That police
Well-
officer is getting a medal.
Well done,
like that-
California PD.
I like as well
we
that
did it, Patrick. We saved the city.
during this scene, there is a moment where they go, we can't use road spikes, it's going to be too dangerous at these speeds. And then they launch cars into them instead.
It's going to be too
I have an
dangerous, but
idea.
we do authorize lethal force.
I trained
Hear
every
me
day
out.
at the academy for this exact moment.
Yeah.
Right, okay, jingle jingle, we've got 2 more points.
Keys. Oh.
Towards the end, Toby is ahead, and Dino tries to knock him off the road in the same way he did to Pete, but Toby recognizes this trick and manages to dodge at 200 miles an hour.
Toby then looks at him
Dino
and says that you've activated my trap card.
Dino crashes in a big smoky mess, and Toby is close to winning, but then he has a change of heart. He goes back, pulls him out of the car, and then continues to drive on and win.
Kisses
Dino
him, and then
Dino
drives
is
off.
convicted for the murder of Pete.
Alex just
Toby-
had to do a little sick while he said
Yeah.
that.
Toby is arrested for illegal street racing and GTA. 6 months later, Toby is released. That is twice that this kid has got out of I don't know which prison officers he's sucking off, but he's sucking them off.
Jesus Christ.
And Julia meets up with him in a 2015 Ford Mustang, and they make some, haha, I've seen how you drive, I'll drive. And then they drive away with the intention of going to pick up Benny from the military prison in Utah, where
Helicopter
he's
jail.
been arrested for stealing an army helicopter. Again, Benny's got off with about 6 months for stealing a military aircraft.
Can I say one thing that I've just remembered that we completely missed?
Mhm.
Remy Malek's character, when he joins the crew again and he's doing a 9 to 5, and then he commits indecent exposure
Across many floors of a building in Detroit.
and sexual assault by grabbing that woman while he was wearing just his underwear and kissing her. And they're like, "Oh, Remy Malek, you're so
When I turned
Freddie
on this movie, I
Mercury."
didn't expect to see Mr. Robot's arse.
Can we talk about when he's in the elevator going down and there's that old woman who's an accountant and she just looks down at him and he goes, "It's cold in here."
Any other film, it would be funny. This was painful. I told my wife I was going to watch this film. She's a bit of a sucker for the Fast and the Furious, bit of a mindless film. Like,
Yeah,
just do
it's a
it,
popcorn
switch
flick.
off. She said, "Do you think I'd like it?" And I couldn't even bring myself to say yes, you would like it, because as mindless and brain dead as Fast and the Furious is, it still has something that isn't this. This film was like, apart from incredibly dangerous racing, which I do not condone, none of them wore helmets. But it was like, let's go over here and smash a fast car. Oh, now we're here. Let's go over there and smash a fast car. Do you know what we've not done in 10 minutes? Smash a fast car.
I would like to give some credit to this movie, given that it's produced by EA. They did not put a tower in to unlock part of the map.
Or
Done.
you didn't have to pay extra to see the ending.
That's true. However, when next year comes out and the new game is
You
there,
technically do have to pay to see the ending because it's the sequel.
Ah,
I saw a comment on this film that said it would have lent itself better as a TV show.
yeah, probably.
I
Nope.
don't think it would have been a
Just
good
don't do
TV
it.
show, but I think it would have been better than this. Maybe we
I don't-
need Need for Speed anime.
Well, who's
I mean,
Christopher
hooray,
Walken
that
going
would
to
be
play?
good. Christopher Walken would play Remy Malek, because could you imagine him doing that
You
bit
just want to
naked?
see Christopher Walken's ass.
Hold on, I'm not finished. You know, he's in the video for Weapon of Choice by Fatboy Slim.
Yeah,
Imagine him doing that naked.
that'd be amazing. I want to see Christopher Walken be the Mustang. I picture him as kind of like a combination of Knight Rider and the boat
Vroom,
from the Wind
vroom.
Waker.
That would be good.
He would just have his head on the front and he'd turn around and give advice.
I like it.
Imagine him as Monarch.
So, Monarch was a shit character, right? And I'm not getting away from that. He was a shit character. But do you know what it gave me a vibe of? Do you remember in... Do you remember?
Do you
Think back
remember?
now. Do you remember?
Do you remember?
Do you remember in Dead Rising movie, Rob Lowe as Frank West?
That was awesome.
The news reporter.
And he was excellent. And I think, like, Monarch was bad. He was really bad. He was like Alex Jones. He was shit. Didn't make a lot of sense. Had the square instead of a circle. I still think he might have been my favourite part of the movie.
Well,
You know, the bit with no
yeah.
cars.
But the problem with that is, like, what you're saying might be true. If you took Monarch out of the movie, it'd still be the exact same movie.
I agree, but I still think that he was my favourite part of the movie.
I think my favourite
think
part
he
of the
had
movie
visions?
was when Pete would look at the camera with childlike wonder in his eyes and say, "Boy golly, I hope that nothing happens to me," and then he
Oh,
exploded.
gee whiz, mister, I want my car to go super fast.
I loved
Did
it
you
when Aaron
notice-
Paul said to his ex-girlfriend, "Your brother will be okay. He's like a little brother to me. I will make sure that nothing happens to him." Can you imagine if he exploded in a car crash? I can't, because it wouldn't happen. And then
Do
it
you
did.
remember his vision?
Yeah, he didn't see that coming, did he?
Well, no, his vision was, I see you by the water next to a lighthouse and you've won the Daily Own. Now, if they didn't say that last bit, walk by a lighthouse, you could be like, oh, there's some subtle foreshadowing there, because at the end when he gets arrested, he's in front of a lighthouse. But actually what they did was they went, you know, we're 5 minutes into this story. You already know, because it's a movie, what's going to happen, but this is what's going to happen.
What if Pete's Koenigsegg was driving so fast that when it flipped over the bridge, it hit a lighthouse and went to the top of it, and
It's just
that
full
was his
GTA
vision.
physics.
Yeah, and that's what he saw was the lighthouse there, or a
911
street
for
lamp and he's
speed.
got them mixed up.
911 for speed, or
Yeah. But it would go 234 miles an hour.
So
Great
here's
Scott.
the important question. It was a bad film, right? There's no getting away from it. It was a bad film. Was it a good and faithful video game movie adaptation?
No. Well,
I don't. Maybe it
kind of.
was, but
In a vacuum, as an adaptation, ignoring the fact it's a bad movie, was it a good adaptation?
I want to
yes
say
and
kind
no.
of.
So the best part of Need for Speed, in my opinion, fuck the open world stuff. It's not really
speed.
like
Aside
it's
from
the
Underground
races.
2.
No, it's still not as good as Underground 1. So the races, the customizing the cars, the fast cars, the tight angles, the scraping the paint, that good. Yeah, okay. The film did that quite good. The bit that they didn't do so good was everything else.
Yeah.
It was a good video game a good movie adaptation of the video game, surrounded by loads of bad fluff.
I would like to give this film a little bit of credit.
It's not the Minecraft movie.
I thought it was competently shot.
Yeah.
I don't think
a movie.
I don't think it was poorly shot. I don't think it was incredibly shot. I would say it was competent.
I think the thing for me,
Good.
the shooting was fine. Yeah, 5 out of 10. The thing for me was the fact that it was all the driving was practical. It wasn't CGI. That put it up in my estimations a little bit. We're out with the shit and into the grey water, basically.
They made such a big deal of it being practical. I knew it was practical before you said it, because I remember their marketing campaign was, we've got Kid Cudi and we actually drove the cars. But
not the actual cars, it was car replicas.
Sorry, yeah. But we drove actual cars. But I think, sorry, Tim, I'll let you finish in a second. I think
Thanks, Kanye.
that's good. But some of the practical shooting, it didn't look good.
Yeah.
It's good that they did it, like, well done. But, like, B-.
I imagine Ford were happy with the marketing, given that the main car was a Ford Mustang, and oh wow, look how great our Ford Mustang is.
Look how well it catches fire.
How pissed off do you think Koenigsegg were that their cars are now accessories to murder?
Car in it.
Yeah. But then they were like, oh, there's only 3 of them and one of them's done a crime.
There was only 3. One of them's exploded with peaty all over
You're
it.
right. So out of the 2 remaining, one did a bad.
It was an illegal import of that car.
That's
which I'm sure Koenigsegg were also
So
buzzing
Koenigsegg
about.
turned a blind eye and went, "No, we know nothing about that. Why are we putting personifications on car companies then?"
It clearly says illegal.
What do you think Vauxhall thought of this movie?
Well, I drive a Vauxhall, Tim,
What,
and
as
I
your
thought,
car?
well, no, but I can speak on behalf of all Vauxhall. This movie is shit.
Hold on, let me think about what my Citroen would say.
Shit.
This would be a totally different movie if it was a lot of Citroen C4s going around.
We'll reach 80.
Well, hold on.
I could drive around the Asda car park at 20 miles an hour.
I'd be there going, this can reach 60. Tim would go, I can get it to 85. I'll go, there's no way this can get to 85. And Alex goes, that's because Tim's a better driver.
And Alex
You'd
gets
open
the
it
bus.
up and you go, has it got an engine? And the bonnet flicks up and you go, 1.2 litre.
Oh. I just had the air vent replaced. Fun fact, that's what I did today.
This is MOT'd until next October.
What if there was an MOT movie? What would that be?
Shit.
My God.
I kind of
At
want to
least
see
you'd
that.
see some actual mechanics working going on.
Yeah. They made such a weird point in this movie as well about mechanics. There were these women at the auction who were like,
Yeah.
I'm so interested in cars. And they're like, what do you do? He's like, I built that car. And then they like shit on him and go, oh, so you're a mechanic. It's like, who do you think builds
Not
cars?
only are you a borrower, Remy Malik, but you're also a mechanic, and we don't like that.
So weird. Like, in 2 years' time, he's going to be in New York in his office.
No, he's in Detroit.
Oh, and Kid Cudi's recording arses from a helicopter. It's not a good look on anyone, this film.
No.
All day and night.
What else do we do on this show? I forget.
I mean, that's about
End
it.
it.
Yep.
Not the show, not our lives.
Would you
It's,
guys recommend this movie?
No.
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 Would you recommend taking a bath with a toaster?
Over
Yep.
this, yes.
Good.
Not just in general, yeah.
Good. There you go.
Right.
Alex, you can hit the music now. We'll see them next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band. Video game movie club. Laugh until the credits roll. Joey Alex, Tim will dub. Scenes that make you lose control.
The listener got to 51 minutes before I said, would you take a bath with a toaster?
Bye.